Welcome to another edition of Dolphins In Depth, my podcast provided to you by the Miami Herald. I am your columnist, Omar Kelly. Joining me is Isaiah Smalls a day before he's got to head up to wonderful Indianapolis. Is it cold, Isaiah? Is it snowing? Did you check the weather?
It's not snowing, thank God. I think it's about highs 50s, lows like 30s. So I'm kind of like, hoping for the best for sure. Hoping for the
Definitely.
best. I want no snow.
As long as it's not snowing, and I will suggest to you, I'm one of those guys, those little scooters. Indianapolis is a big scooter town.
Ooh, so I love those.
Oh yeah.
We're going up. We're going up.
Yeah. So I literally walk out of my hotel, get my scooter, and scoot on wherever I need to go. Good, absolute good city. St. Elmo's. And I don't know if you've ever heard, but if somebody says, "Oh, let me get you a St. Elmo's cocktail," do not eat it. The horseradish, when they say it's fire, it really is fire. It's like
horseradish in a cocktail. That sounds awful.
It's like shrimp cocktail where it's hot like horseradish.
Okay. So it's not a drink. It's not a drink. It's like a shrimp cocktail.
It's shrimp cocktail. Yeah.
Okay.
It's like an Indianapolis thing where people who do not know, they learn the hard way.
Okay.
If you hear anybody say, "Oh, let me get you a shrimp cocktail," you about to be the joke of the table.
Okay.
But
for sure. I appreciate it.
Great steaks in Indianapolis, and a lot of bars and a lot of information will be disseminated in bars. For those who do not know, while Indianapolis is about the talent that's there in terms of the young rookies at the Combine, going through medicals, doing interviews with media, doing interviews with teams, being measured, and then doing their testing and their position drills. It is probably 4 days of frantic activity for these players. To try to put themselves in their best position to be drafted high and have their NFL dreams started. And that's what we pretend that we're there for at the Combine. But really what it is, it's a week of tampering in the NFL where every agent is there, and they will sit down with every single team and talk about their prospective clients. Teams will talk to agents about the fact that they're going to shake down or fire your player if he doesn't, take this pay cut. So a lot of NFL business. You'll hear, I'm surprised that the Matt Stafford news has circulated. Brett Favre is apparently trying to steal his team, take over the Rams, and Matt Stafford's looking for
Aaron Rodgers.
Yes, Aaron Rodgers. Why do I always call him Brett Favre?
I don't know. That's crazy.
Come on, it's crazy. It's Green Bay quarterback.
No. I'm not surprised. I'm just like, wow.
Yeah. Aaron Rodgers probably is angling to become the starting quarterback of the Los Angeles Rams. They are they've given Matt Stafford opportunity in a position to find himself a new home. I've followed Matt Stafford's career for a while, and I know that he is a quarterback where he is in full control of his career. So he's going to determine where he's going to play. It looks like the New York Giants are probably one of the front runners. Think about it. They're trying to save their jobs, bro.
That's real.
So you want who wants you, don't you?
I just want better from. I just growing up in between Columbus and Detroit. I got mad love for what Matt Stafford did in Detroit. So it's I don't want him to go to the dumpster fire of an organization that is the New York Giants. But
I forgot your yeah.
It's not even that. It's not even that. Like I just, what I'm saying. The Giants are just terrible. They let Saquon go. Like, come on now. How good of an organization? And they drafted Daniel Jones. Like, I don't, what I'm saying?
Hey, maybe he doesn't end up there. There are a lot of teams that need quarterbacks, and supposedly, and this is something that we'll talk about. I'm actually going to write about. I promise you, in Indy, you're going to hear the Tennessee Titans' new GM say, "Oh, we're open for business. We haven't decided what we're going to do, or we love Will Levis, and we're we're going to listen to offers, and how much would that number one pick go for if a team is enamored with Cam Ward? And I do believe that Cam Ward is the number one pick. I believe, and I'm going to say it here so I can put it on wax. Shedeur Sanders is intentionally. I don't think it's wise to throw if you're already considered a lock for the first round. Now, I guess he is a lock, but he can only hurt himself by throwing at the NFL Combine because I believe the arm is a decibel below where I would want it to be as an NFL starter. Not to say that Tua's arm is not a decibel lower than where I want it to be as an NFL starter, but he prides him. He's good on his accuracy and his timing and precision. Shedeur has nothing to do but lose if he throws at the NFL Combine. I don't know where Cam Ward will be or what he'll do. They're both being trained by the same player. If I'm Cam Ward, I probably don't throw either because you want to throw with guys you have chemistry with. Exactly. And realistically, let's be real about this. You have seen 2,000 throws from each. What the hell do you need to see it up close and personal for?
Yeah, no, that's exactly what I was going to say about Shedeur. I wasn't necessarily surprised when I saw that news come out because it's like, I mean, to your point, he's a lock. He's a lock, and I think the power might not be there, but I like the accuracy, and he has 4 years of tape. Like if you haven't made your decision on Shedeur,
I think he's got 3 years of tape. I think he came out early. You sure he's got 4?
He got 2 years at Jackson State and 2 years at Colorado, right?
Okay.
Yeah, that's 4 years of tape. That's 4 years of tape.
All right, you're right. So yes, he's definitely. The Combine is a dog and pony show, where if you have something to gain, you better go do it. But if you don't have anything to gain. But I think Cam Ward has the number one spot to gain.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you've caught some of the videos of him and Shedeur training together and their smack talking sessions.
I love it. I mean, they've been doing that because they trained together like last summer too. So it's been I've been definitely tuning into that. And for anybody that can really that knows ball, you can see there's a different zip on Cam Ward's throws than there is. Not to say that they're not they both don't have good arms, but like there's a different level of zip when it comes to
Cam Ward. I believe when it's all said and done, Cam Ward will be the number one pick. Will it be to Tennessee Titans? I don't know because they're kind of stupid organizations. Stupid organizations do stupid things. Yeah, it is what it is. Yeah. But I do believe that he's going to be the number one pick. But on this episode, we will talk a little bit about the Dolphins' own free agents because, as I said to you, this is about free agency. This ain't about draft prospects because what people don't understand is like the draft process comes after free agency. That's why everybody's like, why don't you do a mock draft? Why would I waste my time doing a mock draft when every team's needs are going to change after free agency and you're just sitting there wasting your time? Players that you re-sign, players that you add to your team. If the Miami Dolphins sign 2 veteran safeties, would safety be a priority need with the 13th overall pick? No, it wouldn't. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure the clicks would be nice for the Miami Herald, but doing a mock draft now, I'm just literally wasting my time.
That's fair.
So, but right now, I want to talk a little bit about these Dolphins free agents. And before we get into the free agents, I want to get into the Shakedown crew. And I call them the Shakedown crew because that's really what these conversations that the Miami Dolphins are going to have with their representations and the representation is going to have to be bringing it back to the player. Tavon Armstead on the books for $15 million this year. The Miami Dolphins are going to say to him probably the same thing they said last year. Yo, Tavon, we like about $5 million of that back, if not more. Last year, the Dolphins took back $5 million of it. Considering Tavon had $9 million in guaranteed money and walked away with $10 million instead of his $15 million salary, I would say it's not that much of a loss. Also, on top of that, what organization is Tavon going to basically not practice all season and then play on Sundays for.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that this is a good thing, this is a bad thing, but it is what the situation is. But Tavon was phenomenal earlier this year before a knee injury started surfacing. Mm-hmm. And a lot of Dolphin fans are ready to move on. They're ready to get back that $15 million in cap space.
Yeah.
The problem is you get it back, but you get it back on June 1st. Mm-hmm. That's not going to help you in free agency.
Exactly.
If you want $10 million back, you restructure his contract, you shake him down, and you can get that now. Also, on top of that, I bring up this point to you, and I want to ask you this question. Let's say you do not retain Tavon Armstead, and he says, "Nah, I'm not going to take a pay cut. I would rather go elsewhere and start fresh somewhere else." And you're bringing back Patrick Paul. How much confidence do you have with Patrick Paul, not only being the starting left tackle moving forward, but also the Dolphins locker room without Tavon Armstead's leadership presence?
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that scenario, to be honest. If I'm the Dolphins, I want Tavon Armstead back because let's start with the Patrick Paul perspective. There's no harm in Patrick Paul learning yet another year under someone that is as great as Tavon Armstead, right? He's a guy that not only can teach you just the fundamentals and the small little things that will help him improve, but also just the leadership stuff that he just provides. To your point, like, he is one of the leaders in this locker room, and not just with the talk too, because we don't necessarily see that. We see the example that he sets, right? The fact that he's working every single day to play on Sundays. Like, people, you talked about, what organization is going to let him, just not practice all week and then play on Sundays. You're right. I'm sure others won't, but the fact of the matter is, to be able to do that is very, very difficult, right? Like, that is not easy to do in the NFL, right? To not practice, to still be there. And he's somebody that leads by example, right? And I think the Dolphins would really, really be, I don't want to say lost, because, other guys will step up, but that is something that is needed, especially, with the ups and downs that were last year, right? I think you want to have these pieces that are able to say, look, like, last year wasn't an anomaly. This year, we're going to add some new pieces. Hopefully that interior offensive line gets fortified, right? And then now you go back at it with, another year better. What is that? Year now 3 in the McDaniel offense. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the,
year 4.
Four, excuse me. Yeah, year 4 in the McDaniel offense. And now you're able to, I just don't think that there's, any harm with bringing him back. If anything, it's a plus, not only for the locker room and just the leadership qualities that he brings, but then also when it comes to just, the talent, right? Like, he was a top 5, tackle in the league when healthy, right? And so, you want to have that. The Dolphins need all the help they can get on the offensive line. Having that continuity with Tavon Armstead really helps that.
Definitely. What's your price point you put on Tavon?
I think if they can shake him down for $5 million, like, I think that's good, because you just want to get as much back as possible, right? Hopefully convert that into a signing bonus. I mean, look, you saw with the Eagles, they heavily incentivize with the signing bonuses, right? And then it allows you to, get some money back and still build these good teams. So I think that's, that has to be the formula that the Dolphins try to employ this year.
Now, what about other member of the Shakedown crew, Bradley Chubb? How do you handle that? He can only be a June 1st release, and I believe you get like $19 million in change back by making him a June 1st release. You gave up a first-round pick and a swap of late-round picks and a back that you really were just unloading. 2 years of service from him, really 1.5 on the field. Mixed reviews. Is he a $20 million a year player? You could have those discussions. What do you do with Bradley Chubb? Do you want the money? Do you try to restructure the contract? How do you move forward?
Again, I want to restructure that contract as well, because as I had previously said, I want to see this Weaver defense, Anthony Weaver defense, with that three-headed monster that is Jalen Phillips, Bradley Chubb, and Chubb Robinson. I want to see what that, what those three guys can do because, we obviously, Chubb didn't play last year. He was missed. But it gave Chubb the opportunity, and we saw what he could do, when it comes to those pass downs, right? He's a great pass rusher, right? So that being said, I want to see all three of them go. And that's why I say I think you do restructure, right? And I think the approach is very simple, right? The pitch, I guess, is very simple. Like, do you want this to be a good team? Yes. Okay, cool. We're going to need some of that money back. And let's incentivize the contract.
That's not my problem. That's not my problem. You signed the contract.
Hey, look. At the end of the day, it's about winning. I don't think,
Is it? Because at the end of the day, if you're a professional, it's about the money. It's about making money.
I understand that.
This is a business, young boy.
This is a business. This is a business. But at the end of the day,
you talking all this team. You talking all this team stuff, this friendly stuff. I don't see Harold come to you. Hey, Isaiah, we'd like to give you a 10% pay cut because we need the team. We need the team to do well. We need the team to do better. We need to hire another reporter. So we're gonna give you a 10% pay cut. Are you okay with that?
First of all, they're not coming to me with that. They're coming to you with that because you make more money than I. So they're not coming to me. I'm cheap. That's like coming to Chop Robinson and saying, hey, we're gonna need some of that money back. That's not gonna happen. So like already the argument is flawed because it's just you're
I mean, you over here talking about team.
I understand that, but the biggest difference is we're not playing for like there's not a trophy we hold up at the end.
Yeah, we do. Year. It's called subscribers. It's called.
I've never physically held a subscriber in my hand. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not something I've ever physically done. We don't get a trophy. We don't get rings when we, you know what I'm saying, when we hit a certain viewership.
It ain't worth no pay cut. You over here asking Bradley Chubb to take a 60%, a 40% pay cut for the team.
I'm not saying. Well, yeah, I would. I actually would. It's 20 million. I would be asking. Yeah, I would. I would definitely be asking. But also, you're as good as your recent performance, right? He had to realize that this was coming because he opted not to play. And it was a team. They agreed.
I don't know, but I will never buy that.
Look, what do you mean? What do you mean?
You out there practicing? You practicing for the fun, for the poops and giggles? Mm-hmm. I really believe they had an injury settlement. They had an injury guarantee on his contract. If he got hurt, they'd have to commit to his contract. They were like, "Nah, we're good. We don't need to see you." I mean, you act like the Dolphins didn't have need for pass rusher at that point in the year.
No, they did. They 100% did. They definitely.
And they basically were just like, "Yeah, we're good." Either they didn't like what they saw, or it wasn't worth the risk because they had need. Mm-hmm. So
honestly, I don't think it was worth the risk. That's probably what they opted for. If I'm a betting man, that's what I'm betting on, honestly. Yeah. And then that being said, I think I understand what you're saying. I mean, it is a business, right? But at the end of the day,
what player don't want to come back from an injury? Name me that player.
That's true. No, that's true. That's true. But I think that same level of fire that they have because they want to come back. They want to compete for a championship. They want to, do all these things.
I mean, they weren't playing for a championship. He would just come back.
Look, I'm talking about 2025. You told me yesterday the past is irrelevant right now. We're talking about for 2025. And the best chance the Miami Dolphins to compete for a championship is having these guys, take the selfless approach. Give some of that money back. They can't, the Dolphins love handing out that money, right? They hand it out
to the selfish approach and give some of that money back.
Look, man. I'm just saying. Look, for the Miami Dolphins to be successful, I'm not talking about individually with Bradley Chubb.
Whoa! Look, for them to be successful, people got to give money back. I don't know how I feel about that, Isaiah.
Look, the more cap room they have, the more they can go get these players that
they got to do with me and my paycheck.
Look, if they you realize, I think you break it down. It's actually like this, right? You ever hooped with players that weren't that good, That like you out there,
it was
you're
usually
playing.
me. It was usually me. I said it was usually me.
Okay. Well, see, that's why we wouldn't hoop together, because I'm happy you told me that. Because the thing is that when you play with players that are below your standard, below your quality, substandard players, the fact of the matter is the odds of you getting hurt just skyrocket tremendously, right?
Okay.
And so my argument is like, look, man, you don't want to play with, you know what I'm saying, Joe Schmo off the side of the road. We saw how that went last year, right? We saw how that went last year. You don't want to do that. And in order for you not to do that, and also increase our chances of getting to a championship, and we can heavily incentivize that contract. If you hit these benchmarks, you can earn that money back. And I think that that's fair only because of the injury that he's coming off of, right? It's not pretty. It's not a pretty pitch. This isn't the pitch that's going to make guys smile and that's going to make guys be like, oh, well, but at the end of the day, if that awakens something in you to get that dog mentality that this team is missing, I'm all for it. And if not, you can go somewhere else, man.
See, look at that. You just threatened me.
I'm not threatening you. You
just threatened Bradley Chubb.
I'm not threatening. That wasn't directed at Bradley Chubb. I'm just saying in general. Like
that's the problem. That's where I always have. Did Bradley Chubb and his team put a gun to the Miami Dolphins' head when they signed that contract?
No, of course not.
Okay. They traded and then gave him the contract.
Mm-hmm. Of course.
Nobody put a gun to their head. Nobody put a gun to their head when they restructured that deal twice. Mm-hmm. And I'm not going to say that Bradley Chubb isn't going to play nice and play along, because realistically, if he's cut right now, sitting out half the year, what's he going to go out there and make? Is he going to make $8 million? Probably not. Is he going to jump to the top of the free agent prospect list? Probably not. Mm-mm. So, but I hate when that's why I always tell people, and I don't think we've ever had this conversation. Only money you ever count in an NFL contract is the guaranteed money. Everything else is fake money. It's monopoly money. It don't matter, because Bradley Chubb got $60 million sitting on his contract. Mm-hmm. And right now they're like, yo, take a pay cut or we're going to make you a free agent. Mm-hmm. Why? Because the guaranteed money is done. Christian Wilkins signed a ridiculous $100-something million deal. He's going to make $24 million guaranteed over the next 3 years. That is the deal. All that other money, he ain't never going to see that. And more than likely, unless he becomes a double-digit sack guy for the next 2 years, they're probably going to shake him down. But this is the business of the NFL. Yeah. Unfortunately, it rarely ever goes in the favor of the player, like a Jalen Ramsey situation where Jalen's like, yo, pay me now. Mm-hmm. And you say, yes, Mr. Ramsey. Yes, Mr. Ramsey. It rare, and which is why I always support when the players are swinging the hammer. Yeah. Because they so rarely ever get the hammer. It's always the team swinging the hammer. And now we're in two situations where I think Tavon has a little bit of leverage, because you're not getting that money back when you need it. You want that money back when you need it, you work with me. Bradley Chubb is in a similar situation, but that's $19 million. That's in free agency. That's about 4 good players in free agency money in year one cap value. That's like 4 starting players. Like, you need that money. So am I trading 4 starters for Bradley Chubb? And we had this conversation. I don't know if I am. Yeah. So it'd be interesting to see if he revisits his contract and if he buys into what's going on here. But that's another thing. People have to realize players have options. And sometimes players don't want to be with organizations and leave organizations. Sometimes it's because they don't like the culture. Sometimes it's because they don't like the locker room. Sometimes it's because they don't like the defensive coordinator or the offensive coordinator. Sometimes it's because they look at the situation. They say, yo, all these dudes going to be fired at the end of this year. Like, and then I'm gonna have to start over with somebody else.
Yeah.
That might also impact the Dolphins from a free agency standpoint in terms of
Mm.
players coming here, because players, their agents are not idiots, and their agents are like breaking down the situation. We got the Steelers, we got the Ravens, we got Tennessee. Tennessee obviously ain't going nowhere. The Steelers, they don't have a quarterback, but they've got a solid organization. You got that Steeler brand. The Ravens, if you could get there, get there. And then we got Miami. Miami's in an unstable situation where these guys got to win. So if you don't believe in Tua, you don't believe in if you're not a big fan of Anthony Weaver.
But but see, that's where I was gonna pause. I think Anthony Weaver is a bigger selling point than we give him credit for, just because of what he was able to do last year with the defense that was dangerously in need of pass rushers, right? That had the injuries that they had, right? And so you see that wasn't creating turnovers, right? So you see what he did there. If I am a defensive free agent, and look, I'm looking at that, and so I'm asking around, I'm asking the Zach Steelers, I'm asking the Jordan Brookses, just trying to get a base level understanding of what they have there. I'm asking the Calais Campbell, and all those guys are speaking very highly of Anthony Weaver, right? And so they might say, look, man, I don't know about anything else, but Anthony Weaver is going to put you in a good position to succeed. And I think that is the selling point that I don't know if it is being talked about. I'm sure it is being talked about within these circles, but I think that's something that could be to the Dolphins' benefits for sure.
I mean, but understand, this isn't just we're just going to pay and offer the highest amount of money.
Of course,
this Dolphins team is going to have to sell themselves to free agents, and not only just the free agents on the street, but their own. Dolphins have a laundry list of free agents, and it starts with Jevon Holland. I think the conversation is relatively short on this. I think both you and I have a price point on Jevon Holland that the market is probably going to exceed. I would say I would not pay Jevon Holland more than $12 million. I think the market is going to get him $12 million a year. I think the market is going to get him much more than that unless it flatlines on him. I do not expect them to use the franchise tag or the transition tag. It's just ridiculous. And they don't have the money for it. Let's be real. When you use the tag, that money comes off immediately. You can't spend anything in free agency. And the Dolphins, they believe in remaking the team. Let me ask you about a position that I think is a heavy discussed position, the inside linebacker spot. The Miami Dolphins have two free agents, two starters in Anthony Walker Jr. and Terrell Dodson. Terrell Dodson had a phenomenal season when you compare his stats from Seattle and Miami. He was over 100 tackles, 3 interceptions. Only problem I have with Terrell Dodson is I believe he's a weak side linebacker, just like Jordan Brooks. And I don't know how I feel about putting 2 weak side linebackers together. Your take of that is what?
Now, the athleticism that he showed, at that position was phenomenal, right? Like I think back to I forget the interception. I think it might have been against the one where he stretched out crazy. Like I was very surprised when he got that one. He looked like a receiver there. So I mean, he brings athleticism to the position. I understand what you're saying about the need for a strong side linebacker. I mean, obviously, Anthony Walker Jr. was great, but when he finally took the position over, was serviceable, not great. Serviceable when he took the position over. I think it really comes down to to the same point we keep going back to, the price point for both of them. Like, what do you want, and what is out there? What is there anything out there? Like, do you think even though he doesn't have familiarity with the defense, like a Dre Greenlaw, is interested in coming here, right? You got to think about all these options, right? And if you can get somebody like a Dre Greenlaw for a discount, right? Because he is coming.
Who's taking a discount?
I mean, he's coming off of injury. He's coming off of injury. He played 36 snaps last year or something like that. He looked great in those 36 snaps for sure. But again, it all depends on the price.
So you're telling me, as Chris Greer, a guy who's one of my major knocks on me is, 1, I keep fumbling the ball on offensive linemen, and 2, I keep adding injured players that I need to go add another injured player.
When you put it like that, yeah.
I'm just asking you a question.
I mean, look. It's funny that you mentioned that because when you think about what is it, the definition of insanity is keep doing the same thing, expecting different results, right? I wouldn't be surprised if
Jordan Brooks was an injured player.
Look, sometimes you roll the dice, sometimes it goes in your favor, sometimes you crap out. Like, and I think that's the reality of the situation, especially when you're dealing with a game as violent as football, right? At the end of the day, these guys are trying to build the best team on paper, and they're praying that it looks the way that it does. That Dolphins team on paper in August, the defense specifically looked great, right? On paper. I mean, like at the interior, not really. On the interior, not really. But like, we talking about the secondary was straight. It looked on paper.
On paper. Okay.
And on paper in August. I'm saying two different things. On paper in August. At the end of the day, if you're a GM building a good team, that's what you want it to look like. You want it to be good on paper, and then at the end of the day, you pray, you thank you. You know what I'm saying? You pray to whatever God you pray for, that it somewhat matches what you put on paper. So now I say that to say, going back to Dodson and Walker, I would put it more so. I mean, I like Walker a little bit more just because of what the energy that he brings to the locker room. I think
leadership too.
Yeah.
Do you know that he made less than $1.5 million last year?
Did not know that.
He made $1.2 million and $750 million of his contract is guaranteed. Mm-hmm. I am going to say conservatively, and he did that because he was South Florida is his hometown. He wants to get back here. He coached his dad's high school team, as you wrote in a wonderful story for the Miami Herald. He was a coach and a player last year, and I think Duke Riley made $2.5 million last season, and I think a Duke Riley-esque deal for Anthony Walker would, where you double his salary, you show him a little respect. Now, obviously, he's probably going to try to draw some interest from elsewhere, but that's not a very high salary. It's not going to kill you. Hell, make it a 2-year, $5 million deal, and give yourself an option and give him a little bit of security. But it'll be interesting to see what happens there. But you're right; it's all about what level of interest do you have from other teams.
And just for the record, I saw him at an Unrivaled game a few weeks ago. He said he's healthy. He said he wants to stay in Miami.
Why you didn't write that?
Because I was there to write something else. Like, I was covering Unrivaled.
You there to write something else, and you see a Dolphins player who's injured, and he tells you he's healthy, he's good, and he wants to return to Miami, and you think you need to be writing Unrivaled stuff? Yeah. I'm just saying. Let me just school you. Okay, bad Isaiah.
All right. Well, breaking news, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, yeah. Emmanuel Ogbah. Let's group them in together. The defensive line. Only Zach Sealer is on your defensive line, and I'm gonna put it to you like this: Zach Sealer is making $8 million this year. Do you think Zach Sealer is comfortable making $8 million this year?
No.
Okay. No. So what you think Zach Sealer is saying right now to the Miami Dolphins?
Well, I need some more cheddar. I'm sorry, you saw what Christian. What you said he made? What he's making $24 million?
Yeah,
he's pissed. He's pissed. I mean, but I think Zach Sealer. Obviously, we're being a little bit facetious. Zach Sealer is one of those team guys that very much so team first.
He still wants his money though.
No, of course he definitely deserves a bit of a raise. You mentioned Ogbah. Do I bring him back? Yeah, I think I like what I had him in spurts. I'd have to, again, that price point. What did he make last year?
I think he made $4 million last year. Keep in mind Ogbah, and I like Ogbah. Yeah. I think at one point Ogbah was on the borderline of being a franchise-esque caliber player. He was making $15 million a year. He didn't twist your arm to give him that. Actually, Ogbah made $2.5 million $3.25 million last season. Here's the thing about Ogbah. Last year he played with that bicep tear. Had a respectable season. The year before that he played on the bench, coming off the bench, 5 sacks, interception. Ogba's a valuable piece. I am of the opinion that Ogba needs to leave here in order to get the respect that he needs in the NFL. Yes, he's 32. Yes, he's a little bit mature. Ogba told me he had other offers from teams and contenders before he re-signed with Miami because he had unfinished business. I'm thinking to myself, I don't know if you should do that, brother. But he did start all season, had a decent season, but it was just decent. Yeah. I think he personally needs to be in a 3-4 front as a 3-4 as an end. I think he needs to be a defensive end, not an outside linebacker. But if he comes back, I would certainly welcome it and celebrate it. But the question is it going to fill or address a need that you have?
No, that's right. I think I'd want him to take a little bit less because he wouldn't be expected to be
less than 2 point.
Exactly. And that's not exactly because that's what I'm saying. Like,
less than $3.2 million.
I mean, just a hair under it. Look, like I'd be nickel and diming people, man. I'm cheap.
I see this.
I'm cheap. I'm straight up. I ain't gonna lie to you.
You cold-blooded out here.
I'm happy there's not a lot of women watching the Dolphins. But I'm cheap. I ain't gonna hold you. I say that to say though. I mean, yeah, just because you're not gonna be expected to play as much as you did last year. That's why. I mean, like, look.
Are you? Because the way this defensive line be injured, you might be expected to play.
The reality of this situation is, look, man, there's a potential that the Dolphins could have one of the best 3-man defensive, outside edge rusher positions. You know what I'm saying? Rotations in the league.
Chubb, Chop, and Phillips.
Yeah.
All right.
It's potential.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? How many of them are injured?
Look, and that's the thing. We will see. Like, let's revisit this in September. Let's revisit this in September. But I say that to say, you just go to Ogba like, look, do you want to be part of this? We have an opportunity here to really bring some pressure off the ends. You had a great season last year, right?
But another year. You asked me to sign here as a backup, really, as a fourth guy.
Look, if he's interested in it, why not? I mean, it's another year in Weaver's system. Everyone has raved about Weaver, right? Again, Weaver is the selling point, man. We should put Weaver on a flag and we just wave it around in defensive players' faces. Like, you saw what we did without super talent. You know what I'm saying? We were talented on paper. You saw what we did. It didn't necessarily translate to turnovers and stuff. But look, man, give me another year. We can get something going.
Okay, and Calais Campbell, what's your sales pitch to Calais? Sell me as Calais. Sell me that I should be returning to the Miami Dolphins.
You can have anything you want.
I'll give you my house. Huh?
I'll give you my house.
Hey, listen, he's old, he's aged, which is why teams are not going to offer him ridiculous money. I was shocked that he didn't make $4 million with the Miami Dolphins. I mean, he's going to give you he's going to be a starter in defensive ends, play 17 games. Mm-hmm. In my mind, that's worth $4 million. That's the offer I'm putting on the table. If Calais gets a higher offer from somebody else that's a contender, he's got to consider it and he's got to go. Mm-hmm. But as I've said, going back to the last podcast, I want Calais Campbell to be part of the Dolphins organization much longer than this season. I want him to be running the Dolphins organization in 5 years. Yeah. I just because of who I know that he is. Yeah. Let's go to the offensive line. Liam Eichenberg.
No.
Why can I finish? Can I finish what I'm saying? Can I finish what I'm saying?
Go ahead.
You just find everybody.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. Robert Jones, Liam Eichenberg, Isaiah Wynn. Anybody getting a 1-year, $2.5 million deal?
I'll throw Wynn one of those. I will, because I mean I like what he brought towards the end of the year with that rotation. Obviously him and Eichenberg were rotating at the end of the year, and it actually helped both of their numbers. Like they just looked, it because it allowed Liam to be fresher, because I know he was dealing with some things, with Wynn working his way back, allowed him to be fresher as well. I'd give it to Wynn. I think Wynn, showed some, good power in the run game. That's what they were missing. They were missing these guys that can really create holes, that can really drive back a defensive line, and he can definitely do that, right? And so, I mean, I'd offer him a few bucks. The rest, thank you for your service, but we got it from here.
Even though Wynn has the most fragile body.
Yeah, but I that would be one of those contracts that I heavily incentivize. Like, you got to play at least 12 games, sir.
You put in, they're called per game bonuses, where they put a certain dollar amount on every game that you play. Tavon Armstead has them as well. The Dolphins are very heavily incentivizing per game bonuses, especially with the injured guys. Let me get you some players that we did not address. Deshaun Hand, because I like what Deshaun did last season.
Yeah, and he cool peoples. I do like what he did last year, but I think that might be one of those guys that might have that need to go to really get that full value. I know the Dolphins took a little bit of a chance on him a couple years ago, it was one of those things where I think it worked out. By this year, he was a good rotational piece. If he's willing to, I don't want to say take a discount, right? But you extend the money.
What is the discount? What you putting on the table?
Let me see what he made last year.
Yeah.
1 year, 20, okay. Yeah. Look, yeah. I mean, it wasn't super crazy. 1 year,
1 year, one point. He made basically $2 million for. I mean, not. I'm sorry, $1.2 million for 1 year. And yeah. But based on that was can you come to camp and we'll see if you make the team. He clearly made the team. Clearly was a contributor. I'm sure he's looking for something in the neighborhood of at least $2 to $3 million, if not more. And I think he's actually with an agency that can get him that money, because I believe he's with Javon's agency.
Yeah, athletes first, correct?
Yeah. So and think about how difficult it is for teams to find decent defensive tackles. The Dolphins got him because he had gone through a series of bad injuries, and they helped him reclimate his career. I would. He's one of those players where I would love to see him come back, because I think he has not touched the ceiling of what he can do. But if I'm the Miami Dolphins, I'm going out there and I'm searching for everybody's Deshaun Hand. I'm like, oh, your team thinks you worth $2 million. We got 3 over here for you. I'll let you, boy. That's what I'm building a whole team. Oh, you did a little something, but your team not giving that great value. Come on down here to death row. I'm Bruce. I'll dance all up in your videos. I want to ask you about one more guy. Actually, let me. Kader Kohou and Quentin Bell, they're restricted free agents. I highly doubt Quentin Bell is going to get a restricted free agent tenure. They're probably just going to offer him a 1 year contract. Quentin's probably going to accept it. They did that last year with, I believe, Rob Jones. Now, Kader's a difficult spot because Kader's proven he's an established NFL starting nickel cornerback. Those guys make roughly about, I'm not going to say a number because Kader's agent, David Canner, would chew me out and tell me you're an idiot. I am. Would you offer Kader? The restricted tender is worth roughly $2 million. Obviously, you're going to sign Kader 1 year deal for $3.2 million. Are you going to try to do better or do more than that?
I would honestly try to see if we can get some long term done, because I mean he's only 26. I mean, last year he played well above. Last year he made under $1 million, right? And I think he overperformed that. Fought through injuries. I believe 2 interceptions last year. You know, one of the, I think if I remember correctly, might have led the secondary in interceptions. You know, this thing because I think Jalen only had one. Obviously, the safeties didn't get any. So just from what he brought,
the evolution. I like the
I
evolution of Cater.
Look, he's a guy that I think was really thriving in Weaver's system. Again, I'm waving my Weaver flag again. Like I think bring him back 3 years if maybe can spare a 9-10 million. You know what I'm saying? And
3 years. 10 million. You talking about 3 years value of $10 million?
Value of $10 million.
I'm not doing that. But if I'm Cater, but I might do 312. We'll see. David Cantor's a very good agent, and David knows how to work the system. The problem is a lot of teams don't want to put a contract offer on a restricted free agent because the team has the opportunity to match it. But if I'm a team, I'm trying to steal a talent like Cater Kohu. Yeah. I'm looking at a team like the Dolphins, which is in a difficult cap situation, and I'm throwing up a high cap number on year one and basically forcing the issue with them to let him go. But only smart teams do that kind of stuff. Tyler Huntley. Where do you sit in the Tyler Huntley discussion?
Wow.
If he's your backup, you're doing better. You can't body. What do you offer? Would you want to invest in that with a year's full of training camp?
I'd prefer him like on the practice squad as like that third. Because I want that second string guy to, not to say that I don't think teams can win with that with Tyler Huntley. I just that last game was pretty bad. I didn't like what I saw in that game.
He had a lot of games that were pretty bad. Let's be real about it.
Yeah, but the Cleveland game gave me hope. Granted, it was against the Browns, but like it gave me.
Well, the Browns.
He looked good.
I answer this question: were the Browns trying to win?
I guess. I mean, I don't know if any team that throws DTR out there at QB1 if they're really trying to win, because I've never seen a guy play more scared at quarterback than I.
And I like DTR, so I'm not even going to be a hypocrite because I like DTR. I would invest in DTR over investing in Tyler Huntley, even though Tyler Huntley just whooped his tail.
Yeah, I was about to say. I don't know. I don't even know if I would do that. He had like 10, intentional grounding calls. I've never seen that before. I've never seen a quarterback look more scared before in his life. Right. And I get it. Like if you had them dogs coming at you and
ain't no dogs coming at you in Miami.
Look, I'm just talking. I was
ain't nobody biting over there.
It was a figure of speech. I'm just saying You just see guys coming at you. They're not, I'm not trying to attach a label to them in any way, shape, or form. I'm just saying you see them, coming at you every single play. It seems like you have maybe a second to get your bearings. I mean, I would be throwing the ball haphazardly too, but it just didn't look good. But to Tyler Huntley, I prefer a real veteran at that number 2 spot, like somebody that can really just, I like what he brought with his legs, but it's just I don't think he's the backup that I want.
If I say Tyler Huntley for $2 million, you say I'm good, or you say let me do it?
I'm good.
You good? What you gonna do for number 3?
I want I mean, what's the veteran minimum?
One something.
I thought it was like 1.8, right? Something like that.
I don't know. It depends on how many years you've been in the league. But yeah, damn, you throwing the veteran minimum on Tyler Huntley?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because again, it's the similar sales pitch that you get that you not necessarily give to Anthony Walker because he's gonna get more money, but it's the same selling point. They have the same selling points. Like you're back home, you know what I'm saying? You can go check on family, you can go do stuff in your community, like that should be the selling point for Tyler Huntley.
I don't know if I'm coming back here for the minimum though. I
remember he was a practice squad guy. You know what I'm saying? It's not like he gotten signed, but then he got cut, and he was on the Ravens practice squad, and then he played meaningful minutes in Miami. Just saying, and with the revolving door at the quarterback position, that has happened. All but 1 year to his tenure with the Dolphins.
Okay. I mean, I'm interested to see how that plays out, as I am interested to see in how all these free agents play out. Yep. On that note, this is our episode heading into the Combine. We will be definitely doing some episodes at the Combine. Isaiah's going to be there for Mike McDaniel's talk with the media. He's going to be there with the prospects. And we will be checking in on Dolphins In Depth later this week. All right, folks.